Welcome to Some TV World News. I'm Teresa Ayuba, and as the world watches from the next frontier of growth, we say look to Taraba State, Nigeria, a land rich in resource, ripe with opportunities, and ready for bold investments. Here are some of the headlines for today. Inside the main funding, Congo's rebels. South Korean ex-First Lady Kim Koyon-hee began prison life in solidarity cell. Rwanda to accept 250 US deportees under Trump plan. Now the news info. In the heart of the Democratic Republic of Congo, a mine in Ruboya is fueling conflict and funding rebels. The Ruboya Colton mine, controlled by M23 rebels, produce around 15% of the world's coltan, a mineral crucial for powering modern technology. Thousands of miners, include children, work in the mine, extracting coltan ore that is then sold to traders. The rebel imposed a 15% tax on minerals traders, generating $800 monthly. The ore is processed into the telatome, a heat-resistant metal used in mobile phones, computers, aerospace components, and gas turbines. M23 rebels seized the mine in April 2024, and their control has sparked controversy. The United States has sanctioned PRECO-FF, a pro-government militant that previously controlled the mine, but not M23, despite the group's involvement in the conflict. The rebels' advance poses a significant threat to the Kinshasa government. The region mineral wealth is the spotlight as M23 and the DRC pledged to sign a peace deal in Qatar's capital. Doha, the United States, is meditating parallel talks against Congo and Rwanda, offering potential billions of dollars in investment if hostile seize some U.S. entrepreneurs, including taxis head, fund managing Gentry Beach, eyeing Rubea's coltan treasures. Beach Group possessed taking a majority stake in the mine, with Kinshasa retaining 30% interest. However, some U.S. lawmakers have raised concern about potential conflicts of interest, transforming Rubaya's artisanal mining system in the modern operation. The success of the Doha talk is crucial for listing peace and making Rubaya safe for investment and development by Western mining interests. Former South Korean First Lady Kim Koyon-hee has begun her prison life in a solitary cell at the Seoul Nabu Detention Center. Kim, the wife of an impeached former president Yoon Suk Yeol, was formally booked into the facility as the court approved her arrest warrant and allegation of bribery, stock fraud, and influence peddling. Kim's solitary cell measures approximately 6.56 square meters and is equipped with basic amenities such as folding mattress, blanket, storage cabinets, television, multi-purpose desks, wash bin, and toilets. She will have access to a common shower room and be allowed to exercise outdoor for an hour. Except on Sundays, her exercise schedule will be strengthened to avoid overlap with other inmates. Kim faces multiple charges including stock manipulation, bribery, and influence peddling. Prosecutors allege that she might destroy evidence if not detained. Her lawyers have denied the accusation, dismissing speculation about gifts she allegedly received in return for favor. The investigation is ongoing, with prosecutors expected to accelerate their probe. Unlike her husband, who has already spent about 100 days in jail, prison will be a new experience for Kim. received traditional Korean meals prepared at a cost of about 1,500 won, that's $1.08 per meal. On her first day, breakfast consists of toast and strawberry jam, sausage, and salad. However, Kim reportedly refused to eat, citing poor health since late Tuesday. It's unclear if she appeared for questioning by prosecutors on Thursday. Rwanda has agreed to accept up to 250 migrants deported from the United States, becoming the third African country to do so under similar agreement after Eswatini and South Sudan. The deal, part of President Trump's expanded third country deportation program, focuses on individuals with criminal record who have completed their prison sentence. Regular payment for basic living expenses and support help finding employment to integrate into Rwanda's society. Support for the society and economic adjustment. Human rights groups have raised concern about potential risks and harm to deportees in Rwanda. Unclear criteria for selecting deportees and integration plans. Compared to the UK failed deal, the US is expected to provide significant less financial support. Rwanda's economy has grown rapidly since the 1994 genocide, with President Paul Kagame credited by restoring orders and development. However, his administration has faced criticisms from restriction on press and political opposition. Concern about Rwanda's involvement in neighboring Democratic Republic of Congo. The US and Rwandan government will share more information in the coming week. Human rights organizations are expected to closely monitor the situation, potentially challenging the agreement in the court or advocating for changes to ensure deportees' safety and rights. Lebanese President Joseph Aoun met with Ali Laджina, Secretary of Iran's Supreme National Security Council, and emphasized that no group in Lebanon is permitted to bear arms on rally or foreign backing. This statement comes days after Lebanon's cabinet approved a US-backed roadmap aimed at disarming the Iran-led Hezbollah group. Aoun stressed Lebanon's openness to cooperation with Iran, with emphasizing the importance of international sovereignty and mutual respect. The president warned against foreign interference in Lebanon's internal affairs, citing the need for the country to maintain its independence. Aoun reaffirmed that Lebanese state and its armed forces are solely responsible for safeguarding all citizens. The decision between Aoun and Laджina highlights the complexity of Lebanon's relationship with Iran, particularly regarding Hezbollah's influence in the country. Lebanon has been working towards implementing a roadmap that aims to disarm Hezbollah and assert state control over the territory. The outcome of this meeting could have significant implications for Lebanon's internal political and relationship with Iran. Lebanon's caretaker prime minister has previously rebuked Iran and suggested summon the Iranian ambassador over reported comments on the matter. The United States has imposed sanctions on an armed group alleged with Congo's military, a Congolese mining company, and two Hong Kong-based exporters over armed violence and the sale of critical minerals. The sanction targets the coalition des Petroles Resistance Congolese Force, the FREP. The group controlled mining sites in the mineral-rich region of Rubaya from 2022 to 2024, generating revenue through illegal activities include forced labor and mineral smuggling. The measures restrict trade U.S. companies and persons freezing U.S.-linked assets belonging to the group and companies. Rubias products 15% of the world coltan, a mineral used in electronic, aerospace, and medical industries. The sanction aim to raise the cost of illicit trade, promoting a stable environment for U.S. investment, and supporting a peace deal between Congo and Rwanda. The sanctions are part of the U.S. efforts to bring peace to Eastern Congo, where Rwanda's backed M23 rebels have been involved in violence, killing thousands of people. The U.S. and Qatar are hosting talks between Congo and Rwanda, and Congo and M23 to promote a peace deal. M23 is already under U.S. and UN sanction for serious violation of international law. French President Emmanuel Macron has formally acknowledged France's role in the violent repression during Cameroon's struggle for independence. In a letter to Cameroonian President Paul Biya, Macron accepted responsibilities for the death of independence leaders and pledged to open archives and support historical initiatives. Macron recognized France's involvement in a war marked by repressive violence against Cameroonian independence fighters between 1945 and 1971. France acknowledged its responsibility in the death of leaders Ruben Niobi, Paul Momo, Isaac Yobi, Padog, and Jeremy Ndelede, killed between 1958 and 1960 during military operation under French command. Macron proposed a bilateral working group to monitor progress in ongoing research and education, aiming to reconcile historical memory and strengthen Franco-Cameroonian ties. Cameroon was a Germanic colony until it was split between Britain and France after World War I. The French administrative area gained independence in 1960. Macron has previously acknowledged France's colonial legacy, including its role in 1994 Rwanda genocide and the Algerian War. Macron's acknowledgement comes amid shifting dynamic in France's relationship with African nations, with its presence in parts of the continent being increasingly contested. The joint working group aims to promote historical research, education, and reconciliation, potentially strengthening ties between France and Cameroon. The U.S. State Department has released its 2024 Human Rights Report, which has been scaled back to soften criticisms of some countries that are strong partners of President Donald Trump administration. Countries like El Salvador and Israel, which have extensive record of human rights abuses, receives lenient treatment in the report. The report found no credible report of significant human rights abuses, a stark contrast to the 2023 report, which highlighted issues like unlawful killings, torture, and harsh prison conditions. The U.S. has strengthened bilateral ties with El Salvador since Trump took office, deporting people to the country and providing $6 million to house migrants in the high-security mega prison. The report section on Israel was shorter than the last year edition and omitted mention of the severe humanitarian crisis of death toll in Gaza, where over 61,000 people have died due to Israel military operation. The report criticized Brazil and South Africa countries, which the U.S. has clashed over various issues. In Brazil, the report noted a decline in human rights, particularly in the court, which allegedly undermined freedom of speech. In South Africa, the report stated that the human rights situation significantly worsened citing concern over land expropriation of Afriners and further abuses against rascal minorities. Critics argued that the report is politically driven, prioritizing American first value over human rights concern. Josh Paul, a former State Department official, said the report reflects what happens when political agendas take priority over facts. The report introduced new categories like life and liberty and security of the person and omitted criticisms of government over the treatment of LGBTQI rights, which was a feature of previous reports. The Congolese army and the M23 rebel group are trading blame over recent clashes and trouble build-up in Eastern Congo. The army accused M23 of carrying out multiple attacks violating agreements signed in Washington and Doha, while M23 accuses the Congolese forces of mobilizing more troops and violating the terms of Declaration of Principles signed on July 19th in Doha. The declaration signed in Doha supports a permanent ceasefire and outlines a framework for peace talks between the two parties. Scheduled talks in Doha have been delayed, with neither side currently having delegation in the city. M23 leader Bertrand Bisimwa stated the rebels haven't received an invitation to the talk. The rebel group refused to participate in talk until Kinshasa respects the Declaration of Principles, including releasing detained M23 members. The Congolese army claimed M23 is perpetrating delay attack, while M23 accuses the army of significant troop movement and military equipment deployed in 6 locations. U.S. President Donald Trump administration is mediating talks between Congo and Rwanda, aiming to produce a sustainable peace and attract Western investments to the region rich in minerals like tantalum, gold, cobalt, copper. A Kenyan activist has filed a lawsuit to block the opening of Ritz-Carlton's first safari lodge in Kenya's Masai Mara Reserve. Mitimia Ololdapash, director of the Institute for Masai Education, Research and Conservation, claims the lodge obstructs a crucial migration corridor between Masai Mara and Tanzania's Serengeti, potentially harming the renowned ecosystem. Dapash alleges that no environment impact assessment which conduct, while Lazizi Mara Limited Managing Director claims Kenya authorities did access the site. Research warned that lodge construction could deal a further blow to fauna in the reserve, with many species population shaking over 80% since the 1970s. Masai herders say luxury tourism development is harming their habitat and ways of life. The lodge is situated along the Sand River, a vital water resource for animals in the reserve. The 20-suite camp feature plunge pools, personalized butler service, and prevent dark overlooking the river. Nightly rates started at $3,500 per person, claims commitment to respecting the environment, and states that Lazizi obtained necessary approvals. Assets that Kenya authorized conduct an environmental impact assessment established the site wasn't a wildlife crossing point. We're taking a brief commercial break. When we return, world news continue.
Are you stuck in Jalingo late at night? Need a safe and reliable ride fast? Introducing SuperCab, Jalingo's trusted ride-hailing service from anywhere in the city. We will pick you up right at your doorstep. Book a ride in seconds. Safe, fast and affordable. Visit www.supercab.com.ng or download the SuperCab app today. SuperCab, your ride, your way. Are you stuck in Jalingo late at night? Need a safe and reliable ride fast? Introducing SuperCab, Jalingo's trusted ride-hailing service from anywhere in the city. We will pick you up right at your doorstep. Book a ride in seconds. Safe, fast and affordable. Visit www.supercab.com.ng or download the SuperCab app today. SuperCab, your ride, your way.
Good news, farmers in Taraba State. Your storage problems are now over. The Taraba State government introduces new official farm sacks, the standard packaging solution for all agricultural products across our state. Through partnership between the Ministry of Commerce, Trade and Industry with the visionary network Apex Limited, we're introducing high-quality branded sacks featuring Taraba's identity. The key benefits include uniform standard sacks statewide, increased internally generated revenue for Taraba's development, proud Taraba branding showing the origin of farm produce nationwide. Distributors in Yangtu, Nganda and all local governments, this is your call to action. Farmers Association and Amana members,
Welcome back. Russia is suspected of breaching the U.S. federal court filing system. According to a report by the New York Times, investigators have found evidence that Russia is at least partly responsible for the hike, which compromised sealed record and sensitive information about confidential source and individual change with national security crimes. The breach targeted the public access of court electronic record system, which contained federal court documents. The stolen data may include sealed criminal dockets, indictments, arrest warrants, and other documents not yet public. U.S. investors believe Russia is behind the hike, with some evidence suggesting the breach, which is persistent. Russia has been linked to several high-profile cyber attacks in recent years, including the SolarWinds hike in 2020. The hike comes just days before a highly anticipated meeting between U.S. President Donald Trump and Russian President Vladimir Putin, scheduled to take place in Alaska on August 15th. The administrative officer of the U.S. court confirmed the cyber attack and is enhancing security measures to block future attack. The Justice Department is working with courts to mitigate the impact on litigants and remove sensitive documents from the system. And that's all on Some TV World News. As the world advances, don't just watch from afar.